Oh boy. Same shit, man. Every day. I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to say. The sky should be blue. Instead, it is gray. What do we do? Make it go away? I'm sorry. Oh, shit. Oh, Trump's clearly a racist. It's so crazy to hear him talk about, I just don't like them. I just don't want them in our country. Talking about Somalians. Just Somalians in general. Because, they ruined their own country. It wasn't the friars in control of their country that exploited them and abused them and enslaved them and, exploited them. It wasn't those. That's not what happened. Just like in the hoods of every city that we live in, or every state. I know here in Detroit, the friars used to live in all of the areas that are hoods now. And at one point, they moved out of the urban areas and moved out into the suburbs while still owning all of the property and refusing to uphold it, refusing to improve it, refusing to sink money in. So they would just rent it out to black people, let it fall into disrepair, and then blame the black people. Use their media connections to make it seem like, the black people are the reason why the hood is so fucking disgusting. That's just what black people do. And that's literally how they operate in everything. And I don't think people understand the brevity, the depth of all of it. It's like that in every big city. Yeah. That's the narrative, the illusion, whatever the truth is so much more than people want to admit or acknowledge. It's freaky. It's just fucking freaky how it works. But the way that they've done it to where you're programmed that you're not supposed to believe in the conspiracies. They've done this great job of insulating themselves with the language. And people just think it's some crazy conspiracy one after another when it's all the fucking truth. It's the truth, and it's awful. And it goes, like, people will think like, oh, well, that's just not possible kind of shit. When the reality is, of course it's possible. Of course it's fucking possible. This is, we live in a really, really fucked up friar control scheme narrative. And what they believe in and what they do is horrible. And what you believe in, what you've been taught to believe in is seriously. Like, how many of you symbolically eat dead body and drink blood? Symbolically drink blood. How many of you do that on a regular basis, or have ever? Like, do you realize what kind of craziness you've been? And you don't know shit about it. You don't know why you do that. Like, surface reasons why, because I'm taking my communion or some sort of bullshit. But you have no idea, like, where all those crazy rituals came from. Who decided that at some point you should eat a matzah cracker, and that's going to be your Jesus' dead body, and that's what he wants you to do, and then drink his blood. Like, who even created that fucking ritual? Never tried it or had the desire to. Unfortunately, I have eaten the dead body bread when I was a kid because I didn't know what I was doing. I've told this story before, but for those that don't know, I don't know, 9 or 10 or 12. I don't know. I don't remember how old I was, but I have, so probably the most influential and inclusive people on my mom's side of the family outside of my grandmother was my aunt and uncle in Chicago. And my uncle was my mom's older brother. And he was, I love that man to this day. Like, he was a great guy. I love him. I love her. Like, they're just stupid fucking religious people, but I don't have anything against them. I don't appreciate their ways. I can say that. Like, they do some sneaky shit, and then when it gets called out, they don't acknowledge it. But they used to always try to get me to go to church. My uncle was a born-again Catholic, actually. Because I guess my family, my Operation Paperclip family, to live in Livonia, Michigan, at the time that they did, you were supposed to be white, you were supposed to be Catholic. That was just the way it was supposed to be, and if you weren't that, that was an issue. So my family was, if being white and Catholic meant that that's how they would get acceptance, then they were going to be white and Catholic. Obviously, my grandfather and grandmother didn't believe in that shit, but they played the role. But my uncle, I guess when he was in like his 20s, or I don't know what the actual narrative is as to why he suddenly went off the deep end. Maybe it was just he fell in love with this Italian girl who was, an Italian from Chicago. Her dad was a Chicago police. Like, they were Catholic as it gets, and the only way he was going to get to be with this girl is to be Catholic. Which is weird too, because when I was born, he was with this beautiful blonde-haired hippie chick named Gail. And I was just in love with Gail and her long blonde hair when I was a baby. And then suddenly he just came home one day with Linda, and it was like, that was just it. And I'm sure if the math was done, my oldest cousin was probably the reason why they got married. But they would take me to church periodically, and they really wanted me to believe in Jesus, but to their credit, like, they never like sat me down and was like, you're gonna believe this, they thought that me going, I would have like some sort of experience or something. I don't fucking know. What's up, open-minded? But needless to say, it never happened. But one day, we were in Chicago, and I was with them at church that day. And I don't know where my aunt was, but somehow me and my cousin, who was like my little sister, she's, a year and a half younger than me or something like that. But we were sort of separate. And when communion time came, this wasn't the first, this was just the weekly communion or whatever. My cousin got up, and because she got up, I thought that's what I was supposed to do. And she went and got in the line, and I'm just standing there in the line, and And by the time my aunt sort of realized what was going on, it was she couldn't just come get me. So I walk up to the priest, and I think he put it in her mouth, and I don't know if he put it in. No, he didn't put it in my mouth. He put it in my hand. I didn't know what to do, so I just sort of put my hand out, I think, and he put it in my hand. And no, maybe he wasn't putting it in anybody's mouth. I don't remember. Because no, he wasn't. He would put it in their hand. And then everybody would go sit down, and they would do a little doodle hopper, and then they would put it in their mouth. And I watched that. So I went and I sat down, and I had the little round wafer, and I'm looking like, I don't know. I didn't know it was even food. I didn't know what the fuck it was supposed to be. To me, it looked like a little piece of cardboard, so I wasn't really sure what to do. And so when I sat down and I saw that everybody was eating it, I was like, all right, and I put it in my mouth, and it was disgusting. It melted into like a gooey, gritty mess. It was disgusting. It almost reminded me of a methadone wafer, but not as fun. But and then so my cousin got back up to go get the sip of wine, and my aunt got to me before I could get up to get in the sip of wine line, and she wouldn't let me go get the wine. And my cousin took like this huge gulp. Her cheeks were full. But like that was my my experience with cannibalism. I'm not proud of it. Tastes like cardboard too. Yeah, it does. Oh, in that way I was forced to over 1,000 times before I was 18. To go to church? Yeah, see, I mean, there's, like, to me, there's so many fascinating elements to this. Like someone like you, did you believe in it? And then something happened that made you stop? Or were you forced to go to church 1,000 times before you were 18 and never believed in it, even as a little kid? I'd love to know. I'd love to know the details, the small little details that separate people, because we got to figure out how to break this spell it has on people, and I want to know what happened to how do people get to where they are? Personally, I can't relate with Sky Daddy. I just can't. It just seems so ridiculously stupid and selfish to me to think that there's, the ultimate being is up above us watching children get raped and starve, while I can talk to it and get it to change its mind about shit. Like, the whole narrative is just dumb as fuck to me, and just I can see how it's used against us on every level very easily. Like, there's no, I can only see the negatives that come with it. Like, even the parts where you're like, well, what about I'm scared of dying, so I think I'm going to go to heaven. What's wrong with that? It's like, well, what are the chances of you actually going to heaven? Did you follow all the rules? Are you just counting on that repentance loophole that doesn't exist? That's just a modern day narrative to make people feel bad? If all it took was repentance, then why did the church sell indulgences? If all people had to do was be like, oh, sorry, God, yeah, I had sex again. I know I wasn't supposed to, but I did it. It was really good. I loved it. I'll probably do it again, but I'll probably apologize again, so don't worry. Like that, if that's all it took, then the incredible amount of money that the church made selling indulgences wouldn't be a thing. It never made sense as long back as I can remember. So that's an interesting thing. So I wasn't I was forced to go maybe a couple of times a year. And it wasn't even necessarily by force. I would, when my cousin would come into town, that was the closest thing I had to a sibling. So when she was in town, I just wanted to spend all my time with her. So if it meant I either could not spend time with her while they go to church, or I could continue to spend time with her and go to church, I'll go to church. Hey. Smoke weed every day. It's the next episode. You just had to go along with it. And was it like I mean, let's be honest, was it a violent threat that you had to go along with it? If you didn't go along with the narrative that you were being forced upon you, would you be threatened with violence? Spankings and whatnot? Karen, what's happening? Karen, you were raised in a religious house too, right? I mean, I would assume Scottish, fucking old school religious brainwashing there. What's all this then? What's all this then? I always want to hear from people who, either used to believe and then don't, or I love when people say, I used to be just like you, dude, but now I found grace in the God's glory, blah, blah, bullshit. I'd love to talk to those people. Sorry. Kinda, but not Bible bashed. Thank you, Gaia. No violence. They would just deprive and punish. Think about that. Like if you have the good thing, if you have the truth, if you have the righteousness, you don't have to force it on people. You could be censored to bejesus and people will still find a way to get to you if you're telling the truth. To think that they would have to, deprive and punish and all that shit when they're supposedly telling the truth, that's telling to me. That tells me more truth than anything else does in that situation. You don't have to punish people into believing good things. I don't have to threaten you into taking $20. Here's $20. Take it or I'll beat your ass. That's not how that shit works. That's funny. Just think about how crazy all that shit is. Think about what they do and how they how that system of like, it's not like they encourage you to question. They don't say to you, what part of this are you struggling with? Let me help you understand it. That's not how things work. They say, again, deprive, punish, whatever. And one of the things that they deprive you of most and most damaging is love. is worrying about is my family member not going to love me anymore because of this? You know, as a kid, it's hard to wrap your head around. And as adults, we don't think about that with kids, what we do to kids. I think teaching kids religious bullshit is psychopathic. Is insane. You know, you tell children that if they don't follow an impossible list of rules, that they're going to go to hell for all of eternity. An impossible set of rules that they see the adults around them don't follow. The best part of freedom of religion is you can always opt out. Well, and the, you know, like I always say this shit to my wife, but like, you know, the thing with anything is like we try to do something new, right? If we, you know, if I'm like, hey, let's try looking at it my way for a change. Let's give that a try. Then oh, that was fucking weird. I say, you know, let's give it my, if we give my way a try for a week, 2 weeks, whatever it is, we have to give it a decent enough try. But if we give it that option to flourish, and it doesn't flourish, it doesn't work, guess what? We can always go back to doing it the old way. That's the thing, you know. If you think quitting smoking won't affect you at all, quit smoking for a couple of months. If after a couple of months you're not feeling better, your pocketbook's not fatter, you know, blah, thing after thing after thing, guess what? You can always start smoking again. You know, I just, you know, we're just not taught all the right things. We're taught, you know, very much the wrong thing. We're encouraged to do the wrong thing. And it's literally everywhere. Like, everywhere you look, you know, it's all just manipulation and bullshit to make us worse. Trump, I can't believe, like, I can't believe this racist piece of shit exists. And then people want to, you know, have the audacity to be like, he's not racist. He's fine. I mean, you know how much easier things would be if racists would just be like, yes, I'm racist, so what? Who says I have to like everybody? You know, but the thing about racists is they're cowards. Because they wouldn't care. You know, if they weren't cowards, they wouldn't care what people think. But because they're worried about what people think and what kind of response they'll get to them openly being racist, they just stay quiet. My saving grace was Mama was a good God-fearing woman, and Steppapa was a rolling stoned, wholesome, happy hippie, LOL, with their eyes more on the stars than Big Sky Daddy. Guess who I'm like? I mean, thankfully you had that influence in your life, because it seems like, wow. Look at this shit. I never see north to south. And now I'm seeing north to south, the fireball looking ones, where they're just going to drop multiple lines. It's just insane. It's just insane what's happening. I'm sorry, I forgot what I was even saying. I just looked and saw that. Oh, look. The second one has restarted. I don't know if you guys can see it. But I guess he was too far. I don't know. That is fucking crazy. It's crazy that shit exists in our society, and people just, they're just oblivious. It's Redford. It looks like fireballs falling. That's the analogy. You understand? I mean, we're just getting crushed today. But what's the difference? I do notice that it's seemingly like it. This is the first year that has reminded me of 2014, 15, 16 since 2016. You know, there's something else going on. Oh yeah, we got snow, lots of it. Well, not really lots. We got a fresh dusting yesterday. I mean, this whole thing is just, you know, do you understand, like, just even the Friar thing? Like I always say, if there was nothing nefarious going on with the friars in Israel, then they would encourage people to question them and explore and investigate, because they know that you're only going to find good stuff. The more you look, the more you're going to be on their side. That would be their obvious. That would be how you if you're telling the truth. Again, that's me. You know, I encourage you to do all the looking you can do. See what sort of dirt you can dig up on me, if that's what you need to do. Understand that I'm not saying I've been perfect by any means. I've made mistakes in my life many, many times. Nothing that I'm ashamed of. You know, I don't have any I'm ashamed because I fucked with somebody way too young stories or something like that. You know, there were times when I was young where I stole things, and yeah, that's what it is. I was a dumb young kid. What can I say? I'm not gonna, as an adult, lose any sleep over it. You know, that kind of shit. But you know, I look at myself as a pretty righteous individual. And I don't have anything to be embarrassed of. So if what I'm saying is bothering you so much that you feel some sort of need to negatively respond, but you're not smart enough to respond. Oh, look, we have the proud pedophile here. You guys see that? Like, this is exactly what I expect. The person that puts proud in to signify that they're a pedophile. Do you guys understand that? Like, that's the reason why somebody is writing the word proud for seemingly no reason. Oh yeah, that's totally normal. That's totally fucking normal that they would fly right next to each other like that. And look, they're up there, right above me. See them in the cloud. That's totally fucking normal, right? Why would anybody think twice about that? You're gonna get demonetized if you use the word regularly. I've been long since demonetized. I'm not too worried about it. It's not about making money. If people want to give me money, then they can go to the website and get the free download and get the money for it. I will proudly expose the pedophile that's on here in the hopes that somebody figures out who they are and kills them. I don't even hide behind, you know, there's no, you know, my goals and everything, it's pretty clear. I'm not, you know, I don't mince my words. Nope. Kill him. I'm a big boy. I use big boy words. Especially when it comes to specific subjects. You know, I don't have any shame whatsoever, any embarrassments, nothing, and there's nothing you can do to tell me how I should, you know, what I should say differently. when it comes to pedophiles, I mean, obviously, to me, the best course of action would be to give them to other rapists and let the other rapist do what they will. But we don't live in that society. So, fucking hey, man, just kill him. Hey, Gus, what should we do to pedos? Oh, hey, what's going on here? What time is it? Exactly. Turn it off. Huh? I don't care. It's a small little screen, and I don't want you looking at it. And remember, that's an hour fast.
It's not.
Yeah, it is. It's not 9:56.
It is.
Gabby.
Wait. I can't down like that.
See what time it is?
Don't use that.
There you go. Yeah, it's an hour fast, remember? I wish we did live there. Where? Who? What? What you talking about? No, again, I just don't. I'm proud of everything I say. I'm proud of everything I say. You know, as proud as someone can be. You know, that's me. YUG. Like I don't understand. You know, I might lose you guys for a second. Oh, I'm just kidding. Shit. Oh, pardon me. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, me, oh my. Sorry, guys and Vega. You don't want to go outside there. You're good. It's cold out there. Oh, my gravy. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, gravy. Oh, gravy. Oh, my gravy. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, sorry. Pet unaliving. Jesus Christ, vacuum. Beers. Alcohol is so awful. Alcohol is just awful. Like I just, there's not even a comparison to weed, even a little bit. Alcohol is fucking awful. I would rather my kids smoke weed 100 out of 99 times. I mean, I'd rather them not do anything. But alcohol is just terrible. It's crazy that shit's legal. It's crazy that they push it on. And when I was growing up, like people don't. The guys, you don't understand today. Like even like the oldest generations don't have it like my generation had it. Because my generation was like the last generation before things started to change. So just before that started to change, it was at its worst, at its fullest. You would have, the Super Bowl. There would be a portion of the Super Bowl would be interrupted by the Bud Bowl, where they would have bottles of Budweiser versus bottles of Bud Light playing a fake fucking game of football.
One year they had cans, didn't they? I thought they used the cans one year.
No. What are you even talking about, pedo? You're a fucking pedophile. Nobody again, if you would just post, if you would let us understand where you are, who you are, if you weren't such a coward who hid behind fake identities, I would really appreciate it, because I would think you need a visit,
Yesterday,
being the proud pedo you are.
in the I'm from Detroit group, this chick put up a post saying, isn't there something seriously wrong with a 34-year-old man together with a 19-year-old? And there were all kinds of comments, mostly, oh, good for him, and,
I mean,
whatever. Everybody has different tastes, and blah, 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 blah. And, my comment was, gross, he's a pedo. Or they're a pedo is what I said, because she didn't specify.
I don't think that's appropriate at all. 19?
19.
19.
When you're 34, there's nothing you have in common.
It doesn't matter. It's not about
even fully developed.
In some cases, yes, but by and I think it's weird, But as far as pedo goes, that's extremely strong language to be throwing around frivolously, and that's coming from me. I know that's coming from you. Yeah, she's 19. She can vote. She can live on her own. She could be at the strip club. I think it's weird. Again, I can't imagine what you would have in common with her. However, if you're somebody that grew up looking at Playboy, 90% of the chicks you saw were 19. But like at 18 would be a lot worse. And again, I'm not saying it's
gross.
It's
gross.
I don't know. It's not my preference. It's not ideal, but it's what it is. I I can't imagine when you were 19 that you didn't venture into those arenas at least once or twice. So come on.
34? No, 34 is old.
Yeah, I bet if you thought about it, you'd go, oh, wait, there was that. Oh, yeah, okay. No. Remember? Oh, and then there was that gangbang.
Oh, my God.
What?
When I was 14 and dated the 19-year-old, that was old.
Yeah, that's gross because you're a child.
But even, I'm just saying, like...
At 19, you're not a child.
I mean, I was turning 15, but still.
Yeah, but you're a child.
It's gross when you're young.
Yeah, but again, we're talking about children. Like, at 14, especially you and your giant hairy bush, you were a child.
I mean, just... I remember myself at 19, and then I remember myself at 25. I was two totally different people. Like,
what do you mean what's good? What oils are good? They have specific oils that are good for... Depends on what oil brand you use. Stomach issues.
Oh, yeah. Ginger, fennel, star anise, peppermint, spearmint. All kinds of oils are good for your stomach.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. You're a totally different person. You're still a kid at 19. You are an adult version of a kid, but you're still a kid mentally.
So I had this talk with my son today, and I made him laugh because he knew I was right. But we were on the way to school, and I was telling him, like, look, dude, there's gonna be plenty of times when we tell you to not do something, or that somebody's bad news or something along those lines, right? And you're going to resist it because no matter what age you are, you always think you know better. And I said, I mean, remember, there was this girl in, like, the first girl that he ever sort of had a something with, little kitty nothing, but whatever. Her name was Olivia. And Olivia was the, only girl in his class with blonde hair who was skinny. All of the other girls were like these little fat girls or whatever. And so he would argue with us that Olivia she was the girl he was going to marry and yada, yada, yada. And he believed it. And I said, because, you're dumb. You're just dumb. Everybody's pretty dumb. They believe what they want to believe. And I said, just think about that when we go further in time and we tell you not to do something or this, that, and the other, and you think you're right. And it's just another Olivia situation where you're just a dumb kid. It's so much harder to see things, to see the truth of what's going on when you're in it. So when you identify as a Christian, then to see that the organization that you identify with is this pedo organization, corrupt as shit, always been that way, Jewish fairy tale designed to keep us stupid, that would say too much about yourself. So you just go, I can't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. As soon as you step out of it, you're like, yeah. Smokers. Fucking cigarette smokers. My wife flat out told me one time, I can't remember where we had just moved. We were moving, actually. We had moved. And she said, I have to admit, since I quit smoking, that the move was easier than it would have been. I was able to keep my breath, whatever it is. But the reality is, if you're a cigarette smoker, you're a fucking delusional moron. Because you're literally smoking, like you are doing something that serves you not a shred of good. There's not a single piece of good that comes from smoking cigarettes. Not even like the illusion that it calms me down or whatever. It doesn't. It's a stimulant. It actually builds you up. Usually what happens when you calm down is because you walk out of a situation and you're breathing. And the more you're away from whatever it is and you're breathing and you have time to think and you're taking deep breaths even if it's a cigarette, you're still taking deep breaths. That's what calms you down. It's not the cigarette. But the cigarettes literally, they serve no purpose whatsoever. They only kill you. And for you to think that somehow you're special. Oh, they're not going to kill me. Oh, my family's not going to have to watch me die a horrible death in a cancer bed, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's so insane. And it's like you have to tell yourself that so that you can continue to basically put that gun in your mouth and pull the trigger. And believe me, I understand the irony. But at least this has medicinal purpose. And then, like, my wife, because she was smoking cigarettes for such a long time and bumming them from the ghetto ass neighbors, who smoked, of course, Newports. Now she smokes Newports. So not only is she addicted to like the heaviest form of tobacco, because it's not like it's Newport lights or whatever. It's the full-on dose of tobacco on top of the menthol addiction, which they say is just as strong. And like, obviously when you understand that Newports were designed and marketed to be sold to black people, you understand that they are like specifically designed to kill you in ways that other cigarettes are not. And that sounds like a redundant, sort of stupid thing to say, but it's actually true. Like, there's probably, other than maybe Cools are probably worse than Newports.
Lucky Strikes.
No, Lucky Strikes are they're not Newports. They're not menthol. The mentholated cigarettes are like 10 times worse for you. They're just, I tried talking about something and talking about it from a separate point of view, but I can't because there's a person fucking drives me crazy. But the only thing I can never manipulate to make good things happen, only bad things. But like I said, my wife told me at one point that she had that she noticed a difference and that she felt better from not smoking. Now, maybe she was lying. More than likely, she had probably been smoking the whole time behind my back. But to acknowledge that that was the case and then to go back to doing it is such a weird thing, you know. And then I think, like, we have to ask ourselves, why do we consistently punish ourselves like we do? Clove cigarettes are the worst. Oh, they're so terrible. Menthol is a neurotoxin. Yeah, no, I when I smoked cigarettes years ago, I could absolutely tell a difference between when I would get on a menthol kick. Like I would have to stop smoking menthols after a while because it would just be like you hear my wife cough all the time. She coughs way more than I do. She coughs in her sleep. You know she coughs a lot. And it would be one thing if we didn't have the kids. That would be one thing. But to know that you're gonna put your kids, the people that love you, through cancer death is such a selfish thing to do. It's such a painful, awful, just a horrible way to go. When I switched to organic rolling tobacco with natural and unbleached papers, I would hope, and filters, I stopped getting chest pains and sore throats, and I have asthma too. Yeah, unbleached. I mean, listen, I should absolutely not smoke pot, and I depending on the situation, who knows if I would or not. But again, at least it gives you something.
Well,
There's a medicinal value to it.
it also it also gets treated in your lungs differently. I just read a science study, a medical study that they did on marijuana smoke specifically, and it actually helps promote your lungs clear itself of mucus a lot faster.
Yeah, but I'm sure
I
if
mean,
you
it's
wrap it
got
in a tobacco in a blunt wrap,
well that they said you do lessen the effects if you use a cigar paper, a tobacco device,
but even the lighter that you put up to your bowl over and over again, you're inhaling small amounts of butane over and over and over again. I mean, we can't be oblivious to the reality of it. But even still, I know that as someone who has smoked pot for a very long time and who quit smoking cigarettes using pot, I can tell you that I feel 1,000 times better having quit smoking cigarettes. And literally, like, there is no legitimate argument for cigarettes. You can't say you can't say, oh well it does this, oh well it does that, oh well it makes me feel better. Oh, it doesn't. It's just not true. It's mental. You know, it physiologically does the opposite of what you're saying. It's a stimulant. Or so you're told. You know, not everybody responds to everything the same way. But, you know, if you're at a midlife point and you're coughing throughout the night, you cough, everybody knows you woke up because we can hear you coughing and whatnot. Obviously, there's already some sort of issue happening. And, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It's a weird place to be. Just eat edibles. Yeah, obviously that is the solution, but that definitely has different effects. And, I unfortunately am addicted to smoking in a way that I'm not comfortable with and need to do something about. But, it's a crutch. I'm never claimed to be perfect. I've never claimed to be, you can have all the answers, doesn't mean you do it. Doesn't mean you're not a human who still makes mistakes and who has his flaws and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, I know the right thing to do. I know the right way to live and all that. Part of it is programming. Like I say, I mean, when I grew up, oh, let the kid have a wine cooler was a thing you'd hear. Oh, it's just a wine cooler. Let him have a wine cooler. Huh? When I grew up, cigarettes were everywhere. The difference between the smoking section and the non-smoking section
was a half wall, if that.
It wasn't a wall. It was just you sit there, you sit over there. The ashtray's on the table.
Crazy.
And it was awful. I remember like going out to eat with people and you'd hope they at least had the decency to wait till you finished your food before they'd light their cigarette. Because having that cigarette blown in your face while you're eating was disgusting.
A lot of people did it. A lot of people did it like that.
I grew up with the Boom brought it asthma pump. When I stopped, dairy, my chest cleared up.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Flying on airplanes, yeah, people would smoke on the airplane.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like there was a smoking, like, just because there was a smoking section, the whole plane would be filled.
Yeah.
It wasn't, and people would smoke because they were nervous,
yeah.
Because of what, like, cigarettes were fucking everywhere.
Everywhere.
When I grew up, when I was 12, 13, you were still, it was still that whole, like, you're not cool if you don't smoke. Cool kids smoke. Camels and Marlboro would be everywhere, and Budweiser would be everywhere. They used to just push that shit on us.
In the bottle and smoked Marlboro Reds.
Now you smoke Newports and don't drink anymore. So that's cool.
Glass of wine here and there.
Wine's so gross. I don't understand how anybody can drink wine and be like, this is delicious.
Yeah, I don't drink it to get drunk, though. Like, I'll drink it with wine.
Because she's way more sophisticated than we think. She has the wine to complement her meal.
Yeah, I like it while I'm cooking and with my meal. If I'm cooking a nice meal, I don't know why. That's all the time.
Because you were programmed with it.
No,
Because
I'll never drink wine.
I know, but the narrative was still programmed around you everywhere. Some wine with cooking, and you put the wine in the food, and you cook. And if it's good enough to cook with, it's good. You got to drink it. And I mean, it's. I don't know. Part of me is super jealous. I miss those days and those times. I hate the time we live in now. I love having this phone and having the access to information like I do, and being able to talk to you guys and whatnot. I'll go, what's going on? But I fucking hate it. I'm so nostalgic for a time I never even experienced. You know, I so desperately want to know what World's Fair USA was like. I so badly want to, live down the street from where the Pentagon is and could have watched that thing supposedly be built. Let's see. Who did that 10 years ago? Anyone would have seen that coming. Seen what coming? I remember when they had smoking. Ain't no smoking casino, but it went out of business. Yeah, casinos seem to be the place where you can still smoke. Casinos are just fucking crazy. Another one of those things that's just crazy that it exists. That this, like the crackdown on drugs, we can't have people want to do drugs themselves and get a little high sometimes. Can't have that. But hey, if you want to go spend your paycheck at the casino, feel free. They'll even entice you. They'll give you some free drinks. They might even comp you. They'll give you a room for the night so you can stay there and gamble more. I remember people smoking while grocery shopping. Yep. My mom was a fucking heavy smoker. My mom smoked Virginia Slim Ultralight 100s. You'd barely even notice them. Like you'd hit it and be like, did I? And then some smoke would come out. You'd be like, oh, okay. Needless to say, I very rarely bump cigarettes off my mom. But my mom bought me cigarettes. I can't remember, I think I was 17. And she bought me a carton for Christmas. And, what could she do? I was a smoker. There wasn't I don't know. Recommend Chesterfield. Is cancer real? Just checking. Basic mild menthol were cool when you have bronchitis. I smoked basic lights for a long, long time. I left my basics. I smoked basics when we met. But I had to switch to reds because she did. Oh, they were so bad. God, they were so bad. When you come to their casinos and they get your money, yes, they do. Yeah, they absolutely do. I mean, it's all, when you absolutely, like, you step, like I say, it's hard to see the problem when you're in the problem. So if you, like, live your life, like, outside of yourself, outside of the emotional attachments that so many people have to things, and you just see them for what they are, it really changes the way you think about things. When I'm genuinely curious about not just your thing, but your perspective on your thing, and I ask you, legitimate, serious questions, curious questions, and you get mad about it. Like, that should tell you something. That would tell me something. If somebody asked me about something and I got mad at them for asking, I'd be like, what the fuck just made me get mad at them? Is cancer real? Sure, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's definitely problems that happen to people. What causes what and how you cure what, well, that's a whole different story. I don't know. I know there are stories to validate just about every school of thought if you look hard enough. I know Dick Gregory was supposedly diagnosed with next to terminal stage 4 something or other, and flew down to like Ecuador or some shit like that, and supposedly drank some water that cured him. So I don't know. But the flu is not real. I mean, cancer is something that manifests in your body and is there. And do I think that there are little invisible germs invading me? No, you don't get cancer from little invisible germs floating around in the sky. Somebody that has cancer sneezes and little invisible cancer germs come out of their mouth and fly around through the air, and then they land on your face, and then they run in your mouth and you get sick.
Cancer's not contagious.
Right, but that's what you think contagious is. We all have accepted this idea that sickness is this life form. Like again, all I ever ask you to do is just think about it. Like, think about what you believe.
Is a life form. It's just not a life form as you're thinking.
Well, no. What has to happen is, so at some point, again, this is what all of you believe. Johnny Regular Shoes is walking down the street, and suddenly flu manifests inside of him, and he becomes patient zero of this epidemic. And suddenly his body, for whatever reason, is now infected with this flu virus. And so as Johnny Regular Shoes walks around, as he coughs, if he doesn't cover his mouth, then a cloud comes out. And the cloud is kind of green with little red specks in it, but it's also invisible. And if you're in a room where there's no circulating air, that cloud just sits there and waits for somebody to walk through it. And then when somebody walks through it, that cloud is actually alive. And it's I mean, It goes from inside your 98.6-degree body, where its entire life has been spent, to suddenly being expelled out into the 50-degree, 40-degree, 60-degree, whatever. I mean, flu season is when it gets cold. So it goes from inside this hot, wet environment to being outside in a cold, dry environment where it basically is a self-replicating, intelligent sort of creature that, as it's sitting in the cloud, each different virus has a different lifespan for how long its cloud can exist. But as somebody goes walking through the cloud and they breathe, and the little Germans run up, invade their nose, invade their mouth, and if you don't have the white blood cell ninjas there that have been boosted by the steroid vaccine, then you probably get sick. They'll probably get you sick. Now, if the room is ventilated or has circulating air, then according to my old neighbor, a sneeze can travel as far as 60 feet. So you who's sitting there with your mask on, eating your food, and every time you got to take a bite, you pull your mask down. Well, if the germs happen to be flying around the room,
waiting like bees at a window, waiting for you to open it.
right, they're gonna get inside it and see. But you believe this. You can't make fun of it. You believe this.
But not like that.
This is what they say. You don't get to pick and choose what part of their narrative you believe. They say that this is how this works, so you have to believe it. Now, the other thing that happens is the COVID sauce. Now, remember, if you cough and you don't cover your mouth, that's one thing. If you cough here, it's no big deal. Everybody's safe. The world is a good, safe place. You cough here, the germs get destroyed somehow,
No,
and everything is good.
You don't
However,
touch things with that part of your arm. You
however,
shake that part of your
if
arm.
you go from here to here,
That's different.
that makes a huge difference. You have a sneeze that's capable of traveling 60 feet, that's producing huge clouds of sickness that people can walk into. But if you sneeze here, it's different than sneezing here. It's not like it blasts it back into your face either way and then all over you and all around you. That's what would happen. Like, you can't have the sneeze that would travel 60 feet in a circulated area, but if you sneeze into your hand or into your crowbo, it somehow gets compacted into nothing. Crowbo, yes, your crowbo. Right? Do you understand how stupid that is? From here, everybody's safe, world as we know it. Here it's the pandemic. Everybody has to get two Q-tips shoved up their nose and get shots. Here, you can stay with your family and everything's good. Here, everybody's dead. So if you sneeze here, now you have invisible COVID sauce all over your hands, or all over your hand. And the crazy part is, again, it's like, to say it's safe on your crowbo and not your hand, when it's a self-replicating, blobbish like monster, that's foolish. Because remember, if you sneeze on your hand and then you you walk down and you brush your hand against the wall, you touch the door handle, you touch the pen to write something, you put your hand on the countertop, you then leave COVID sauce wherever you touched. And that shit just self-replicates into like a campground. And this campground, again, 98.6 degrees inside your body, is now sitting on the 40-degree countertop, 60-degree, whatever it is, with this little tiny base camp, just waiting for somebody else to come drag their hand through it. And once they do, then the germs grab a hold to the hand, and they start immediately self-replicating on the hand. Unless, of course, you go wash your hand and they go, oh, and they go down the drain. But if you happen to like rub your nose like that, scratch your chin, whatever it is, they jump off your hand and now they just start self-replicating and they go up inside your nose and inside your mouth and they get you sick. And I don't care who the fuck you are, you believe that. I might be saying it in a stupid way, but you tell me what part of that you don't believe. Anybody? Anybody want to tell me how because I made it sound ridiculous, you don't believe it? Some like what part? Come on. Everything I've said is something that you guys believe. You believe that the Germans they're invading. The invisible Germans are invading. These self-replicating, monster super disease things that it's so self-replicating and dangerous that we need to be locked in our houses and we need to wear masks and we need all this shit. But if you want to test for it, you gotta stick a Q-tip up inside my nose past anywhere anything's ever been before. Yeah, that makes sense. GPC were $6 a carton at the Indian reservation when I was in high school. You get pissed off at everybody who questions you. What? And what do you mean Holmes? Who's Holmes?
Oh, Holmes instead of dude.
I think he means Holmes, like homeboy, but there's no L in there.
No. Hey, Holmes. No, it's
No, Holmes is homeboy.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
We used to say Holmes.
I know, but no, you never used to say Holmes.
My
Oh my
boys
God.
in the group of friends that I have.
Sure. Well then, yeah, we could definitely base it off of the white kids
He
from
named
Novi.
his chinchilla Holmes.
Well, I'm sure
Holmes.
I'm sure the white kids from Novi had it down. I'm sorry.
They weren't from Novi.
Yes, they were. Oh my God.
Jason was not at all.
Yes, he was.
All
He
my
was not
Milford
from.
friends.
Okay, Milford. Then my bad. I forgot how gangster Milford is compared to Novi. No, these are just goofy ass white kids that if you saw them today, if you saw your whole group today, you'd be like, oh my God, they're so nerdy. Oh my God, look at they think they're so cool. Oh my God. You were just nerds. You were nerdy kids. Just because it was you doesn't mean it's you today. You ever seen slow motion video of people coughing or sneezing? The cloud is not invisible. You can see the saliva particles burst out in a cloud. Yup. And then you think the saliva particles are just that's that's what ends up hanging out in the air? Or is it the germs? But if I get the 11th booster, yeah, well, that's the truth. If you get the 11th one, you'll be okay until the 12th one comes out. Because every time they introduce a booster to protect you from an upcoming variation, the variation starts spreading as soon as the booster starts happening. And so many of the people that get the booster end up in the hospital. You know, the most interesting
It's
COVID.
not from the booster, it's from the COVID. That's why they're in the hospital.
The most interesting, like, scientific study was actually done within my family during COVID. Because on one side, you had my family who were like, yeah, this is dumb. No, we're not. We have to, like, the boys and I would, especially if I had to take the boys to, like, an appointment or something, then, I'd make them put a mask on, but it would be purposefully loose and it would be purposefully off. And, and I resisted it as much as I could. Angela couldn't wear a mask. and had to deal with a whole bunch of shit because of it. But as far as like any sort of protocol went, we still hugged anybody who would let us. We literally did nothing differently. Nothing. We didn't change our
Unless, we
personal
were
lives.
forced to.
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't change our personal lives at all, other than what the situation did, which was, close the schools down and shit. So obviously that changed something, but as far as precautions go and shit like that, we did nothing.
Paid a huge price for it
And
because,
so
go ahead. Sorry.
so at one point I did get sick. And it was a weird sickness. It was my chest hurt. Food didn't taste right. I really wasn't doing anything else. I was exhausted, had a fever, and I kind of had a cough, but for the most part, I was just didn't feel great. And it got so bad, actually, that Angela was the one saying, "I'm taking you to the hospital if you don't recover." And she was the one that was so anti-hospital to begin with. But I was, my chest hurt. And just like so many other times, for some strange reason, we had forgotten oils and hadn't taken any oils. And so I took oils and I passed out. And the next day I woke up feeling better. And, that's just how that went. So there was one point where I got sick like that. Nobody else in my house got that sick. Everybody did get sick around the same time, but in different ways, and
But it was cold season, wasn't
right.
it? It
Well,
was season changing season. When the
mhm.
seasons change, we always,
I
get something.
well, I think that sickness is our bodies. Like I think if we just saw sickness in a different light, yeah, you don't feel great, but it's your body recharging. It's your body expelling any toxins it needs to. It's your body cleansing itself. And I think, you know, I, I only remember this because I have a picture of myself. And I took a picture of myself. I was in front of the Greek painting and I said, I feel this sick or something like that. And I just looked like shit. And I remember it was like a 3-week sickness. It was, it was, we all had it. We had something, at least a part of it, but for both her and I, it was like 3 weeks. It just wouldn't go away, and we felt like shit. Now, if they would have run the COVID drill then, that it would have fallen for it. It was a bad sickness, but I think every 5, 7, 10, who knows what, we don't know it, they know it. They know that we go through cycles where we go through cleanses or whatever, and we're all on a basically similar schedule. Not everybody, but most people. So if they can time out they can time one of these pandemics with that sickness cycle that we go through, then it works out. But we didn't do anything differently. Literally, we just lived our lives. Her brother, on the other hand, his family took it to the extreme. When they would get home from somewhere, they would, I guess, sit in the car and wait while each one would go in, strip down, take their clothes, put them in the washing machine. They'd run up, take a shower, while the next one would then, they had to do something like that. But they would shower every time they came home, and they would wash whatever clothes they went out in. The kids got the, basic shots, but the adults, especially my brother-in-law, got every single booster that he was supposed to get. He ended up in the hospital, was it 3 times or 2 times?
I can't remember. I was just thinking about that.
Right.
It was 2 or 3 times.
It must be 3 times
think
if
it
we're
was
both
3.
remembering that.
Yeah, I think it was
3 times. One time was so bad they almost put him on a ventilator, and and every time it would coincide with him getting a booster a week earlier, 2 weeks earlier.
And then it would turn into, oh, could you imagine how bad it would have been had you not gotten the booster?
Right.
Like, no, bitch, that's what got him sick.
Well, it was like we would just be looking at him like, do you guys hear what you're saying? He took the shot and then got sick. We never got sick. And we were ostracized for it. The craziest part is how everybody treated us like we were somehow these pariahs, strictly because we didn't want to take the poison and we didn't fall for the frenzy that was happening, the hysteria that was happening. Whereas here we are 5 years later, and it's like, hey, remember how we were supposed to be dead?
We're here.
Right, like, we can look back and say, categorically, if you were to compare the two scenarios, we did the right thing. Nobody ended up in the hospital. And not only did he ended up in the hospital 3 times, they were sick all the time. He was just the only one that got sick enough to go to the hospital.
We still don't know what the long-term effects of those fucking vaccines
Oh yeah, for
are.
sure.
So,
Sure.
the worst could still yet be to come.
It absolutely is to come. No doubt about it.
In the form of what it's going to do to
The clotting
kids that had it, their babies.
Well, see.
Like, there's all kinds of shit.
So this leads me into another theory of mine, because, and again, this is all for entertainment purposes, and I'm just talking a whole bunch of stupid shit, like, I'm stoned, okay? I'm just stoned, so we'll just blame it on that, okay?
Can you roll one? Alex is going to be here in about an hour to pick me up with my friend Alex now.
Who cares? But, shit, what the fuck was I gonna say?
That leads me to...
Oh, man, I totally lost me.
You were talking about...
I know what I'm talking. So the 76 swine flu vaccination program, where again they admitted that no one had the swine flu. It was fake, and Dr. David Sensor lied, made a shit ton of money off of 46 million Americans getting vaccinated for something that literally didn't exist. And the formula that was approved, after it was approved, was reworked.
And not the formula given.
Isn't
that
right?
Fucked up? How does that happen? How, with oversight committees and quality control and...
Oh, because it was rushed through.
That's bullshit. That should not be allowed to occur.
Well,
ever.
And that reaction is actually why the legislation did get pushed through at the time that said civilians are no longer allowed to sue the government or vaccine manufacturers for any negative side effects that come from the vaccine they were told they had to get.
That's even more bullshit.
And that legislation went through in like a couple month period of time, if that. It was
was the public able to vote on that?
Are we ever? Yeah. So what you get is a program that precedes SIDS, the SIDS epidemic, because SIDS had sort of always been a thing since, they started poking kids that are really, at birth. Go figure, SIDS is a thing. But it had really gotten to its height because I think what they did was, and again, I'm just joking here. This is so I'm talking about Planet Melmac, where this group of weird aliens they had these overlords that did this to another to the regular group of people, the Goyim, who were none the wiser. But they had them get the one poison using the jet injection method, which was shown to transfer enough material to spread things like hepatitis and whatnot. And it wasn't, the jet injector method. I highly suggest you look into it. It's really interesting. But they again, this is the planet Melmac, where shortly after this program that they instituted, the SIDS epidemic started hitting all-time highs. And what SIDS was on planet Melmac with the Goyim was the result of them trying to get the recipe right. They weren't trying to do that. But what would happen was, and because it was just so unthinkable, people didn't talk about it. But what would happen was, the kid would get their pokes, and that night they would have their SIDS, attack, and it just wasn't. The connection wasn't made, at least externally, at least publicly. And then they started to refine it, and eventually they got the recipe right to create what people wrongly call autism. Vaccines do not cause autism. I strongly stand behind that statement. Vaccines do not cause autism. I believe my government when they tell me that. I know that's crazy, right? Yep, I'm talking about elves people. That's what I'm talking about. So what the initial, the initial swine flu poke program was to set the foundation, so that when when the baby's born and the baby gets the necessary pokes, because it's needs that hepatitis poke, because it's been out there shooting drugs and fucking prostitutes while it was in the womb. When that baby is born to the person who got the 76 version, whether it's that stays within them forever. So if they don't have kids till the 80s, it's not going to matter. And I saw all those people, especially because it was a lot of kids that got that in the arm, jet injector. On Planet Melmac, a lot of the elf children. Again, this is just gits and shiggles here, man. I'm just spitballing. None of this is true. This is crazy. I can't believe I would say such goofy shit just for attention and entertainment purposes. But hey, why not? We're just spitballing here. Movie ideas. Because of the 76 version, when it mixes with the birth version, it then creates what the desired outcome was SOBA, symptoms of a biological attack. Not autism. It is not fucking autism. I believe that wholeheartedly. People are born autistic. Something happens in the womb to make people autistic. That is not something that can catch. Nothing can make you autistic. I fully believe that. So swine flu came from Elf when he crash landed into Willie's house. Yup, that's where. Might as well be. But this is from 76. So this is before Elf got here. Sorry. Do you know that the guy that 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 made Elf was such a mark for his own fucking gimmick that he cost himself many, many millions of dollars and a lot more that could have come out of that character because he kept insisting that Elf be portrayed as a real life alien, not just a puppet. And that there would have to be these elaborate sets to fool the audience because the audience was meant to think that he was like, do you know how stupid you have to be? That's fucking crazy. Have to walk away. Can't have those songs playing in the background. As good as they may be. This is just crazy. The world we live in is crazy, and it's time we do something about it. You do know what the reference for autism, not the cause. What are you even talking about? You do know what the reason is for autism, not the cause. I don't speculate to know anything like that, no. I know that autism is something that people are born with. There's some sort of deficiency in the womb. And I know that autism has a wide range of spectrum, a wide range of symptoms and whatnot. Kind of a strange thing, actually. But I know that's not what shots do. I will stand behind that forever. And I think that's what cost me, my connection to the vaxxed people. I was right there with Kennedy, with Bobby Kennedy Jr., who's now a Trump puppet. But I was right there. I was friends with Brian Burroughs, and we were working together. And when I started making that connection that, hey, I don't buy this autism thing, and I think, the people fighting over what to call it are just distracted fools. Fighting over what to call it while not focusing on what it is just foolish. And that's how they do it. That's just how the whole thing works. Because as long as we're still just fighting over what to call it, nobody's calling it an attack, a biological attack. It's an attack against us. Especially when they know, they have the injury fund. They have the V injury fund. And if you're foolish enough to say that, your kid was given autism by a shot, well, then you don't get access to the V fund because they'll say, well, you said your kid was autistic, your kid's born autistic, had nothing to do with it. Thank you, have a good day. But if you say my kid was VI'd, well, that's a whole different thing, and they have the VI fund. Anyway, this is dumb. Talking to two people, if that. I don't even know what the hell. I don't even know. But go check out the receipts in the description. Good stuff there. Put hair in your chest. Make you strong. Make you happy. Make it shiny. Go check all that stuff out. Especially get your free download. Share it with people. I'm gonna give you some, but if they're not gonna let it go, if we're just gonna be censored, then I'm gonna waste my time away from doing other things I need to do. So have yourself a wonderful day. More than anything, you pedophiles, kill yourself.